Hi, this is Keith Hopwood from Hermits, and you're listening to No Good Music.
I have a very special guest today. He is the original guitarist for the English rock band Hermits. Him and lead singer Peter Noone are about to release their first original song in 50 years called Remember When. And he's getting ready to come to New Jersey the end of this month for his first ever autograph convention. Now let's all welcome to No Good Music, Mr. Keith Hopwell.
Hi, Hopwood. Hi, thanks.
Hopwell,
Get the name right.
I need to get the name right. Yes. Hopwood.
Cool. Great to be here. Crystal clear and in coloration vision.
All the way from New Jersey.
Is that where you are? I was going to ask you. Are you in New
Yeah.
Jersey? Oh,
Mhm.
right. Okay.
Where are you today? Are you?
I'm at home today in very sunny Cheshire in England, which is sort of midway between Liverpool and Manchester, where we
Oh,
are.
okay. Let's talk about the new song to begin with.
Yeah.
So 50 years later, you and Peter Noone got together. Uh,
Yeah,
uh,
we had a meeting last year. My son Dan, who works with me, and Peter, the three of us were talking about various things that were going on and what we could do and whether we could do something together. So I've been writing a lot of songs. So I said, well, I'll see what I can come up with. So I came up with this song. Peter liked it, so we did the track, prepared the track, and then trucks over to Santa Barbara and did all the
mhm.
rest of it there, came back and mixed it, and we've been waiting for a suitable time to actually launch it because Peter's very busy; he's on the road all the time,
Oh,
and
yeah. Yeah.
this coincidentally just happened to work like a dream, because it's the Chiller Expo, but he's
Mhm.
also playing down the road on this Saturday night, like 50 miles away, so very close.
Oh,
So
okay.
so he's gonna come in on the Saturday afternoon, and we'll be together for that.
Had you talked with Peter? I'm assuming it hasn't been 50 years since you talked to Peter.
No, 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 no. I talk to him fairly often. I don't see him often. He's
Yeah.
he's a few miles away from me, but we talk fairly often. I see him in Europe sometimes, in France. So yeah, yeah. We're not strangers.
Yeah, he's constantly doing shows, and
I know. I
I
know.
saw him back in the 90s on the Teen Idols tour
Oh,
with
right. Yeah. Yeah.
Davy Jones and
Yeah.
Bobby Sherman. Uh,
Right.
and then I saw him nearby in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. I was going to see the Smithereens, which is a New Jersey band. They were playing at in Bethlehem at this outdoor place,
Mm.
and Peter was playing at the building behind everybody. It was this Arts Quest building. They had a
Okay.
stage in there, and my wife was off smoking a cigarette, and she texted me. She's like, "Some guy walked by me that looked just like Peter Noone." My wife didn't know that he was, and I said, "I think that probably was Peter Noone." You know. Uh,
Great stuff. Excellent.
so you went to California to record this song. Now I
Yeah.
haven't heard the song's not out yet, and I know for the Chiller, we'll talk about the Chiller
Yeah.
convention
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you said Peter's going to be there. I think he's going to be there for an hour on Saturday,
That's right. Yeah.
if
Yeah.
I'm correct, like 1:30 to 2:30, something like that.
Yeah.
And you're going to have physical copies. I assume you're going to have vinyl.
We're not
Um,
having vinyl. No, there's not been time to do the vinyl. It'll take a bit longer, but we'll have physical CDs of it, and
oh,
that's the day
okay.
that they will be launched on the channels as well.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about the song. Remember when? I assume it's a you're reminiscing about. I don't know. Will
Yeah,
you
it's
tell me?
it's it's a sort of reminiscing, about a relationship, and they're just remembering times when you were a lot younger, and things
Hmm.
were different, and you didn't have a care in the world, etc.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, that's the general vibe, and it's a
Hmm.
sort of it's fairly upbeat,
Hmm.
it's the sort of thing that the band could have done. It's in the right ballpark.
Okay. And Peter still has a great voice. I mean, he's
Yeah,
still. Sounds the
Yeah,
same.
still hits the notes. Yeah.
Hmm. Now he's worked with someone that I know. He has a recording studio in New Jersey, Kurt Ryle from
Okay.
the. You ever hear the Grip Weeds? The
Yeah,
band, the
yeah,
Grip
yeah,
Weeds.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I know Peter's recorded there, and he also worked. Oh, he worked with the Weaklings too. He did a
Hmm.
song. So let's talk about this show. Actually, let's talk about. We have a little. We have like we have some time. So if you have time, but
Yeah,
let's talk about Herman's Hermit. Let's go way
sure.
back here. The band was it's you were in the band from 63 to 72. So a good
Yeah,
period of time when they had, all the
all
hit
the hits.
songs.
Yeah.
And then like the Beatles, you probably hated getting compared to the Beatles. Everybody was competing with the Beatles, it probably
Oh,
seemed.
absolutely. Yeah. They
Yeah.
broke the door down and we all piled in. Yeah.
Hmm. Now you guys were on the Ed Sullivan Show in 65. So that would have been, I think, a
Yeah, I
year
did that
after the
two or
Beatles.
three times. Yeah.
But what I want to talk about is if you can remember, I'm a huge Honeymooners fan. I'm a huge Jackie Gleason fan.
Okay.
So, and I saw that you were on the Jackie Gleason show.
We did that. Yeah, I remember doing the show. I don't remember much about it, but I remember that
Oh,
we did.
okay. And do you remember meeting Jackie? Anything?
Well, yes, I think we did, but it was probably quite briefly. They're
Okay.
always a bit pressured those rehearsal times, so there wasn't much time for hanging around and chewing the fat.
Okay. Now, who came up with the name Herman's Hermit? And people assume that Peter was Herman.
Yeah, yeah. It was. There's various stories about that. That was actually just before I joined, and
Okay.
it was originally called Herman and the Hermits, and there was a TV show called Rocky and Bullwinkle,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
I think the kid had the glasses on, and one of the band was fooling around with these glasses and put them on upside down, and you know,
Oh, Sherman.
and
His name was Sherman, wasn't
Sherman,
it?
that's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And said, "Oh, you look like Sherman." And then somebody else said a Herman, and it sort of came. And then somebody else threw Hermits, and that was it.
Hmm.
It's the way the names come up. It's very bizarre. And then when we got together before on '64, before we recorded anything, we then shortened it. When Leck and Barry joined us, we shortened it to Herman's Hermits.
Now, Mrs. Brown, you have a lovely daughter, was first number one hit in the US. And
Hmm.
I read something interesting that the guitar was a muted effect. You,
Well, the story behind that is the original, the place we got it from, the song. It was released as a record, and it was actually written for a BBC TV drama, and it was
mhm.
played over the closing credits, and it was actually sung by Tom Courtenay, the actor. And the production on the record had a banjo. Well, we didn't have a banjo, so
Mhm.
I had a Gretsch guitar that had dampers near the bridge with a wheel that you could push them
Oh,
up.
okay.
It damped the strings without using your hand to damp them. So that was kind of the nearest thing I could get to a banjo
Mhm.
at the time, and that's what we did. It was
Okay.
we knew nobody ever expected it to do anything other than sit quietly on the end of an album. But it was
Mhm.
it was a surprise, and then nobody wanted to release it, so it was a bit of a shock, a
Mhm.
nice shock.
Yeah, I feel that you had Herman's Hermits had some serious songs, but they also had some, like Henry VIII and
Yeah.
fun,
Well,
fun
all
songs.
those
Yeah.
afterward, they came from Mrs. Brown, the sort of very over Englishness of it.
Hmm.
That's what prompted the Henry VIII and all that stuff. I mean, without Mrs. Brown, then there wouldn't have been a Henry VIII.
Yeah. Almost like some like a drinking song, maybe.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, crazy.
Did you ever get to meet the Beatles?
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah. We
okay.
met them in London a few times. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
On TV shows or in the clubs occasionally.
Okay.
Not all together. There'd just be one of them there or two of them.
Now I also read that you Herman's Hermits played at the Cavern Club. Was
Well,
this
we played there a lot. Yeah, we used to
okay?
go over to Liverpool and we'd do a lunchtime session and then we'd stay there and do an evening session.
Hmm.
So we used to do that on a weekly basis. Yeah. a lot of
And
shows.
your band was based around Liverpool area?
No, we weren't. No, we were in Manchester, which is
Oh,
about
okay.
30 miles away. So we trek over there. So no,
Okay.
definitely Manchester. Yeah.
But your band was around the same time as the Beatles were
Yeah, it was just
coming up.
after I think the Beatles' first release was sometime in '63, and
Hmm.
our release was, it was summer '64. So we were the year after them.
And what kind of music were you guys listening to that kind of inspired you to,
Well, it was a bit of
start
a
a band?
mixture thing. I mean, I was listening to a lot of blues thing. I used to go to a club they had in Manchester, like an all-night blues club where they get a lot of American artists off, like
Hmm.
Sonny Terry,
Okay.
Brownie McGhee, Howlin' Wolf, and all these sort of people. So that's what I was into at the time. I was only about, at that time, I was probably about 16, 17.
Hmm.
And I know Lek was into a lot of the American R&B stuff as well. So but obviously, when you get the record deal, we had a record producer, Mickey Most, and he goes out and tries to find a song that's going to be a hit. So something good came up and
Hmm.
did the trick. So we left it to him after that.
And then it just took off.
Yeah, it took off, and he was just very good at picking songs. I mean, a lot of the songs we did were covers of old releases. Sam
Hmm.
Cooke, Wonderful World, the Silhouettes had been done two or three times before.
Yeah.
Um, but he'd find these songs, whether they're a brand new song or a cover, that would fit our image and would just work for us. And that's what he was
Hmm.
good at. So
Back to the autograph show. Well, let's talk a little bit about have you
yeah.
have you been to New Jersey before?
Well, probably back in the, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm sure, well, yeah, Atlantic City, we did that
Oh, okay.
2 years. I think we've still got the record probably for 200 and odd thousand people or something
Hmm.
in a week. Um, that was on the end of that pier
Okay.
where we had to get to the end of the pier like three times a day. It was, yeah, torturous.
Probably nothing much has changed, I'd say, about New Jersey, but I don't
Yeah.
know. You've never done an autograph show before?
No,
Or
no, no,
okay.
not at all. No, this all came as a complete surprise.
Have
So,
you been to any like yourself to
no,
meet people? Okay.
no, no, it's all completely brand new to me.
Okay. I mean, is there any questions because I've been to this show since 2009,
Have you? It's been going a long time, hasn't it?
but not as signing autographs, but as getting
Yeah.
autographs, you know.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I,
and is most of it to do with movies, horror movies, or what
well,
is
that's
it?
the thing. Chiller
Is
was
that how
used
it
to be
started out?
yeah, it was a TV show that showed horror movies. And it's expanded to it's not only horror, but they'll have movie actors, TV actors.
Yeah, I've
That
seen that
yeah.
from the list, of who's
Yeah,
on it. Yeah.
there's a some people have a problem with it because it's not solely horror and they're still
Yeah.
trying to be kind of a horror show. I think the best advice is to not to to wear light clothes and because I'm serious because it even in they have one in October too. And you basically have to try I mean for me to try and park close enough that you're not bringing your coat in and you got to cuz it gets so warm in
Hot,
that place.
hot. I can
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is there always a lot of people there? Are they well attended?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually Saturday is the most people, and then Sunday is kind of I've seen where guests actually leave early on Sunday,
Yeah, sure.
which is kind of disappointing if you're trying to you want to meet someone and they've
Sure. Yeah.
left a couple
Yeah.
hours before. But you'll have fun and you'll meet a lot of people that are there to meet the fans and also the fans that want to
Yeah.
talk to because
Yeah.
there's I'm not going to mention the people, but there's only been a couple guests that seemed like they didn't want to be there.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Reluctantly.
You have a book, A Hermit's
Oh yeah.
Tale.
Can I just grab something?
Oh yeah,
Can
sure.
I just Is that all
Yeah.
right? Just a,
Hmm.
so yeah, I spent the last few years putting this together, and it's basically the story of my life. And
Hmm.
obviously, the band is a big part of it, but uh, after the band, I did a lot of other things. Wrote a lot of music for some big TV shows, children's TV shows, and
Hmm.
Bob the Builder and the BFG and Wind in the Willows and stuff like
Was
this.
it
So
one Peppa Pig or something?
yeah, I didn't do Peppa Pig,
Oh, okay.
unfortunately,
Oh, okay.
but I did a lot of others. Yeah.
Okay.
So, the book really covers everything right up to today, and in the
Hmm.
last few
Okay.
years as well, I've started my own songs, and in the pandemic, my son Dan said, "What happened to all those songs that you wrote that never saw the light of day?"
Yeah.
And back in the day, 30 years ago, you needed a record company to put a record out. You
Oh,
couldn't do it
yeah.
yourself. So
Hmm.
these things, I had a studio and I was very busy doing soundtracks. So I'd write these songs and then just leave them. So anyway, a couple of years ago, we dug them out, kept some of them, wrote some new ones, and put out an album, and that
Oh.
that one got quite well received. So we've done more since. We've had a series of EPs called Freedom Calls. So we've had two of those out. We've got another one, the third one, which is also going to be released that weekend. So there's
Mm.
there's three of those, each got four songs on. And the book, and this is the book. So
Okay. Hmm.
this goes over there, and what it's got in it, apart from the story, is thousands of pictures of. I wanted it to be, like you read a magazine article and it's got pictures and the here, there, and everywhere. So the whole
Hmm.
thing is like, so
Yeah.
you've got a lot of memorabilia in there, pictured, lots of pictures of the band and stupid stuff. But I thought it just makes it more interesting than just 200 pages of prints. So that's
Yeah. I
good.
like
So
the way it looks. I went on your website
oh right,
and I
yeah,
think there's pictures of some of the pages.
yeah. There's a few shots of the inside.
Yeah. No, it looks
So
like a
gonna have that
nice book.
with us as well. So we can sign that and everything and all the CDs and
So you're
and
gonna
a
have
C-
you'll have your book with you.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have some of those there, yeah,
Mm.
and some of the CDs. There's also a CD of an album that the band made after Peter left when we had a different singer,
Oh, okay.
which worked very well. It still sounds pretty good, even if I say so myself. But the record deal it fell apart at the end, and the guys wanted to do something else, and that's when I left the band. That was about 72, I think. And
Okay.
then I concentrated on my studio and got into writing for film and soundtracks and stuff like
Hmm.
that. So,
That's great that you
yeah,
could keep that, your passion, keep it
yeah.
going.
Well, I was very lucky. We built a little studio. I built it with Lek actually while we were still in the band, and then he ended up bowing out because it had gone into sort of doing music for commercials, which he didn't want to do. So I carried on, and then we built a very big studio in the center of the city, which did it was a commercial 24 track. So we had a lot of big bands. We had the Clash and the Smiths and
Oh,
people
wow.
like this. And so we did that for 10 years. And then we had to move out. The lease had ended. So uh, we moved house and bought a house with a barn on the end of it, a very 200-year-old barn, and rebuilt the whole thing in there. So this is where we are
Hmm.
now. And it's not a commercial setup. It's really just for projects that I'm working on or that Dan's
Okay. I
working
was going to
on.
ask that if any bands you still
No,
record there.
no, because it's a bit more it's attached to our house and that. So I mean, yes, we have bands coming here, but the bands that we're working with that we bring in, we
Oh,
don't.
okay.
It's not just a facility for hire, as it
Hmm.
were. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it's worked very well. Still looks nice. Yeah, there's loads of pictures
Hmm.
on the Pluto Music website. All the pictures there.
Okay.
That's good.
At Chiller Saturday night, they usually have a concert in one of the bigger rooms.
All
Are
right. Okay.
are you bringing your guitar with you? Or
No, no. Well, I've quite enough luggage without a guitar.
okay. I think we've covered everything. Well, I wanted to ask you about
Yeah.
about your book because I noticed it's not on Amazon. You have to order it from your
No,
website?
we've kept it off that. We've just kept it, with us for now. So,
Mhm.
we're more in control of what we do with it and how we sell it. So, I mean, maybe it'll end up there one day.
Okay.
I don't
But
know.
you do ship to the US?
Oh yes, yeah, we've
Okay.
shipped tons of them to the US. Yeah,
Well, if anyone's in New Jersey, they want to come out and meet you. Chiller is April 24th to the 26th.
yeah.
You're going to be there all 3 days?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's a long way
Okay.
for us.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
we definitely won't be leaving early on Sunday. That's for sure, because we're not
Okay.
coming home till. So
Yeah, so they can come meet you and
yeah,
they could also you could check out your website. I think it's keithhopwood.com.
it's keithhopwood.com. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's the website up there now, and there's going to be a brand new website, which will probably be up. Where are we? Tuesday, probably going to be the end of the week. That'll be up there, but everything's on there.
Okay. And is there anything else you want to
I
talk
don't think
about?
so. I think we've covered it all. We've had the CDs, so my CDs, the CD with Peter, Remember When, the book. No, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be
Hmm.
a completely new experience. So
And the song will be released. Well, you're like you said, you have physical copies on the
we
25th.
got yeah.
Is
Yeah,
it gonna be streaming anywhere or
yeah,
like
it'll be released as a digital release on the 25th. So
oh,
all the
okay.
platforms,
Okay.
iTunes, Spotify, all that lot.
Well, thank you, Keith, for
Thank
talking to
you.
me. I might be there, but I
I'm just
usually
going to
go to
say,
Chiller,
are you going to be there? Yeah.
but I'm not sure if I'm,
Oh, okay.
gonna be there or not. I know Charles was the one that asked me
Yeah.
if I went, and which I've known Charles for a while
Have you?
now. He's a
Okay,
great
right.
guy, and he's going to be there with his book.
Yes, he'll be there. Yeah, yeah,
I don't know if
yeah.
you were part of his
Dan's been
books.
dealing with him and sorting out all the bits and
Oh, okay,
pieces. I've not
okay.
really spoken to him yet. All
Well,
right.
thank you, Keith, and
Thank you, Rob. Well, I hope we can meet there then.
have a great night. It
You too.
was great talking to you.
Take care.
Okay,
Cheers for
bye.
now. Bye bye.
Bye. You've been listening to No Good Music. Today's interview was produced and edited by Rob J. Lilly and recorded via Zoom at the Did You Say
7
Studios in Washington, New Jersey. You can find No Good Music on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, Pandora, and almost anywhere you listen to podcasts. Exit music by the band 99%.